right, so the saga of Donald J. Trump continues. Really, what did we talk about before him? Aside from me, of course. It's a shame we only have an hour. But have you noticed the reaction to the Trump conviction? It's more muted than my TV during Jesse's show. Of course, there are the usual nutcases where anything related to Trump is cause for incontinence.
My reaction was I was at Costco buying, 10 boxes of Keurig coffee, and my watch started to buzz, and I got so excited I started leaking a little bit.
So Joy Behar wets herself in Costco. And for the first time, it wasn't over the free samples of chocolate-covered lard nuggets. But aside from Joy and some has-been actors, where's all the noise? No one's dancing in the streets, weeping or peeing with joy. The truth is, even some on the left admit this prosecution wasn't justice. Some recognize they were going too far, even before the verdict. It's like when you're in a fight with your spouse and you make a casual comment about her meatloaf and realize, oh, I'm in for it. And they're right. The verdict resulted in a bump in Trump's polling and a massive $200 million bump in donations. $200 million. That's more than I make in a year. Fact is, Americans can tell the difference between Trump and Biden. One's facing a sentence, the other can't complete one. So, thank you. So how does Trump do it? How does he turn a conviction into an electoral windfall? How does he turn his adversary's energy into power? I call it the eternal cliffhanger theory. When one act finishes, it sparks an equally thrilling next one. He's like the orange Harry Potter. And what creates the cliffhangers are those obsessed with taking him down. It's a perpetual motion machine. Their attacks can't help but set the stage for what will he do next? And what he does next then creates another cause for attack. You think you killed him? Nah, there he is in the next chapter from the UFC, while Joe goes unnoticed at KFC. And what do you notice about that UFC crowd? Well, they're young, mostly male, healthy, and get this, alive. Everything the White House hates or lacks. That's why when Democrats say, but Trump's a convicted felon, the rest of us in unison say, so? So, Dave, how do you think this verdict will affect affects the election? Do you think this influences the undecideds at all?
Greg, I will answer that question, but can we just talk about Joy Behar leaking for one more second?
Yes.
Because
by all means.
So I can't go to Costco anymore. So where do people buy toilet paper in bulk besides Costco? And if you would have thought, like everything being equal, which member of The View was leaking, I feel like everyone would have said Whoopi.
Yeah, she does the commercials for Poise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
Yes.
So, as for your question, does it affect the election? Yes, it affects the election. Mm-hmm. Trump, at this point, whether he is in jail, whether they've put him on the moon, whatever they try to do with him at this point, he is going to win, and I would say win by a landslide. They will pull out every trick in the book, but we need Orange Man back because the other guy, something ain't right.
But the reason why I take you seriously and not Kilmeade.
Thank you.
No, hear me out. On the first show, he predicted this show would be #1. And I was like, And you were like, you have the same certitude now that you did then. That's freaky.
It was the first episode of the Gutfeld with the exclamation point show, which still doesn't quite work for me, but good for you that it's happening. And I did predict that, and I'll tell you something else I predicted. I predicted it about a year before DeSantis won his race. I was backstage with him at a show that we did together, and he said he thought he was going to win his re-election by 2 points, and I said, you're going to win by 20 points, and he won by 20 points. So
you are...
I've got a track record.
You are like a leather-clad Nostradamus. Notice how I didn't say gay Nostradamus? I'm evolving. Adam, great to see you.
He's not wearing leather.
I know he's not wearing leather.
Not where you can see it.
Yes. See, I saw him earlier. Fauci grilled over COVID lies.
I'm going to go through a list of COVID mitigation measures that you supported over the course of the pandemic and ask you to give me a yes or no as to whether you believe these measures were justified. Business closures.
Early on, when 5,000 people were dying a day, yes.
Church closures.
Same thing.
School closures.
Again,
the top people at Meta, the top people at Facebook are asking, why are we getting all this pressure to downplay the lab leak theory?
what has that got to do with me?
I'm asking you because you're the expert on the coronavirus. I'm saying, why was the administration so pushing not to have the lab leak theory as something that was viable?
I can answer that. I've kept an open mind throughout the entire process.
You kept an open mind, Dr. Fauci, open mind.
Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor, you're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes. In my time, that man does not deserve to have a license. As a matter of fact, it should be revoked, and he belongs in prison.
An ouchie for Fauci. All right, Rubin. I don't know. I'm not crazy about that kind of theatric stuff because I think he should go to jail. Right?
Yeah,
what did you make about him basically saying he had an open mind? He did not have an open mind about the lab leak.
No, Fauci has lied about everything from the beginning. He admitted that 6 feet social distancing was just kind of made up. He told friends 2 months into COVID that masks don't work. He claims he had nothing to do with school closures. We could go on and on. There's another part of that testimony where he says that he blames 200,000 to 300,000 COVID deaths on podcasters for spreading misinformation about vaccines. I would like to say, as an unvaccinated podcaster, I want to use my words carefully here, Anthony Fauci can go himself. How is that? That's good for Fox, right?
That's good. That's good. We'll. Democrats prefer you don't hear Biden babbling to her. In a recent court filing, the Justice Department strongly opposing the release of audio from President Biden's interview with special counsel Robert Hur, citing concerns about potential AI manipulation. Remember, this was the same interview which revealed Biden's diminished mental competence and was a reason for not recommending criminal charges. In their effort to withhold the recording from the public, the DOJ, or DOJ, contends that the original audio falls under executive privilege and releasing it could hinder future investigations. But this shouldn't hold up in court, as deep fakes can be made from any audio of Biden's voice. Then again, the law is only a thing when it involves going after Trump. A transcript of the conversation is already public, but House Republicans believe that it may have been cleaned up from what Joe actually said, which is a relief for Biden's staff. They'd rather clean up what Joe said than what he did on the Oval Office rug.
I actually read the transcript, and he sounds insane in the transcript. Robert Hur is desperate to get it back on track. He goes, "Thank you very much, sir, but can you please?"
Yeah.
The question, would you? And he just would ramble on and on. My sense is that they cleaned up that transcript remarkably, and they're going to worry about everything they've ever done. They cannot let this out. They cannot let this out. I think it is unbelievably marked up, and it still reads like a guy that's lost his head.
Do you think he himself during it?
Well, that's something that I'm going to let Dave ask.
That wouldn't show up in the transcript for sure, unless it goes.
You know, like.
Go, Dave.
As for whether he himself, depends.
First thought.
And I didn't even write that one in advance. Come on.
Anything else? Or do you want to just sit back and go, I think I just exit this safely?
Can a panelist toss the commercial?
I do feel quite confident of everything I've done here today, but no, he's like a combination of Mr. Magoo and Mr. Burns. I mean, the guy has dementia and should be in an old age home. He should be in Shady Pines and nowhere near the White House.
But it just... To put a, what do you call it? Put a thing on it?
A bow.
A bow on it. This is total lack of transparency. Trump would never do this.
Of course.
He would show you everything, and sometimes he has. All right.